Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Concern Podcast, where we unpack political, social, economic, and cultural stories shaping our world. I am Emmanuel Taban. Now, I have always been asking this question, and I've been looking around the political uh, space in South Sudan and try to analyze all decisions and moves of different politicians um, just by trying to figure out exactly which one among these politicians is the one who is trying to take the country back into war. You know, sometimes a country is not taken back to war through some direct uh, moves, but there are some decisions that appears to be provocative that can easily provoke the other side into fighting the government and trying to incite some violence. And I've seen these decisions done not once, not twice, but so many times. And these decisions have become so clearly done by the president of the country. You know, when we look at the moves and the decisions that the president of the Republic of South Sudan, Salva Kiir Mayardit, is taking of late, it will clearly leave you with a very vivid understanding that perhaps Kiir does not want peace. We have seen how he has been doing his appointment of late, removing ministers that are totally aligned to the detained first Vice President Machar, removing members of parliament that are that are aligned to Machar. And not only that, he also takes decisions, very crucial decisions, that could have involved all parties signatory to the peace agreement by neglecting Machar or his allies. And when we look at the peace agreement clearly, we understand the people who are very prominent to that peace agreement. When we're talking about the people who are principals to that peace agreement, it is impossible to exclude Machar. Just a couple of days ago, another move, another decision taken by the President of the Republic of South Sudan, which I feel is so provocative, which I feel it's deliberately meant to provoke the SPLA-IO under Machar, was taken by the President. The President took a decision to convene for a dialogue that would bring all the signatories to the peace agreement to discuss issues to do with the forthcoming election. But the most interesting thing about that is that when the president wrote all the invitations, inviting all the signatories to the peace agreement, he excluded the SPLA-IO allied to the detained first President Machar. In other words, Machar and his faction, Machar and his bloc was not extended an invitation to this dialogue. It was marginalized, excluded from the entire process. Instead, the president wrote an invitation to the chairperson of the SPLA-IO faction, that is Stephen Parr, the Minister of Peace Building. So what is that so? It clearly tells us that President Kiir is living in an illusion. He is embracing a new political or a new SPLA-IO faction that is not even part of the peace agreement. And he has done that over and over again by legitimately recognizing Stephen Parr and neglecting and marginalizing Machar. So what does that mean? What does a dialogue that has no Machar make sense? How is it a dialogue when we don't have Machar and his faction? I mean, by now, President Kiir should have been advised. Sometimes I doubt if President Kiir also is not being misled by his advisors. A president with good advisors would actually be warned. A president with very intelligent advisors would be informed that, look, we have detained this guy. And we've said that he was the one behind the conflict in Nasir, and that today he is detained. He has no way of communication, of making maybe intelligent communication with his people outside there. But even that, when this person is still under house arrest, we're experiencing lots of sleepless nights. We're being attacked right, left, and center by the SPLM-IO, who are his staunch supporters. A president with good advisors would have been given this warning. And these political advisors would have given to Kiir directly this comparison that, look, this guy is in detention, but there is still violence going across the country that is being spearheaded by people who are his supporters. How powerful is this guy that even in detentions, there is still violence going across the country? How powerful is Machar that even when we put him under house arrest, there are still people going around the country calling themselves his supporters that are able to cause havoc and cause sleepless nights to the SSPDF? This should have been the question that these political advisors brought into their mind and understand it clearly and tell Kiir, and that the decisions that Kiir would have made would be informed by all this advice that these political advisors would have given him. But it is unfortunate that Kiir seems to have been advised by people who take no analysis whatsoever, who don't take into account the current happenings across the country. I mean, you don't need to be a genius to get that very clear into your brain, that someone is in detention but still violence is able to go across the country. And therefore, any decision by President Kiir to marginalize Machar, to exclude Machar, to ignore him from any decision, whether being elections, whether being implementation of the peace agreement, whatsoever thing that is going to be of benefit to South Sudan, any decision by Kiir to exclude Machar will never yield any good fruit to the South Sudanese people. We will continue violence and seeing violence across the country over and over again. We have seen threats from forces loyal to Machar, giving warnings of attacking Bor in different parts in the northern part of the country, of taking over major cities, and even of coming towards Juba. We have seen this even when Machar is in detention. This should have informed the president. This should have been at the center of his decision making. And he should have actually come to his understanding that by now, there is nothing tangible, there is nothing important, there is nothing peaceful that will happen in South Sudan when he excludes Machar. But it's unfortunate that President Kiir is not taking that into consideration. Very unfortunate. So I feel that President Kiir needs to revive some of his decisions. He needs to consult widely. He needs people who advise him. He needs people who tells him the reality of the things. Perhaps President Kiir is overwhelmed that he has the power, he has the people to protect him. But that is an illusion. Majority of South Sudanese across the country are not happy with how things are done. Even the soldiers that perhaps is depending on are not happy with the way how things are done. And therefore, a government that is in the position of the government of Kiir shouldn't be, considering taking decisions that are provocative as a way of solving issues. Perhaps by now, Kiir should have realized that the only way to have a very tangible peace in South Sudan is to take inclusive decisions that brings everyone, decisions that does not marginalize, does not exclude Machar, decisions that are based on, understanding exactly what is happening across the country. I have, doubt if President Kiir is being updated by the intelligence about everything that is happening across the country. If you do have intelligence, you're not only supposed to be informed about the wars and everything, you're supposed to be informed about even the perception of the people about your government. The intelligence is supposed to move across the country and try to gather information and the feeling of the people about your government. This is the intelligence that the president needs to be updated with every single day. But I feel that people don't give president this information. Perhaps if we do have this intelligence, giving the president, updating him about the happenings in the country, about how the people perceive his government, he wouldn't be making some of the decisions that he is taking today. But it's unfortunate that perhaps we are lacking people who tell president the reality of things. Thank you, guys. This is my take on the recent decision by the president to convene a dialogue in the absence of Machar. Thank you, guys. Until next time, I'm Emmanuel Taban, and this is the Concerned Podcast. Before we close today's episode, here's a quick message from our sponsor, Wanit.co. If you've been planning to build a website, but the cost has been holding you back, Wanit.co makes it affordable and stress-free this time around. Whether you are an individual, a non-profit organization, or a business, Wanit.co designs professional websites starting from as cheap as $250. Individuals can actually launch with a starter website of up to 7 pages and a free email, or choose an advanced option with unlimited pages, a professional portfolio, and branding support. For non-profit organizations, they can select flexible packages from basic websites to premium solutions with e-commerce features and ongoing support. And for business companies, Wanit.co delivers company-ready website with hosting, staff training, and multilingual options and online stores. And the best part of it is actually that you can build your dream website within your budget. Wanit.co is an affordable, accessible, and professional partner. And to get started, you can actually visit Wanit.co or email them at info@wanit.co, or you can get in touch with them through their WhatsApp number at +1 226 504 3322. Wanit.co, proudly affiliated with Jobs to Apply. And if you're wondering of what I'm talking about, here are some samples of website created by Wanit.co. You can see them right here.